And we moved from a hunter-gatherer in a pretty short period of time into developing agriculture, urbanization, workforces, and money, all of a sudden overnight. So the question is asking the Sumerians, where did their guys come from? Where did these people come from that actually started their civilization? And they say the person that taught them everything, okay, not the gods, but the person, is a guy called Oannes. And he came out of the sea, off the Arabian Peninsula into Sumeria, and he had like a fish tail. And he taught them civilization and how to cultivate the lands and how to build and all technologies and stuff. And once he had taught them, he went back into the sea and disappeared. So let's think about this. We've got these people that came from a far-off planet, from Liberia, came to Earth, 450, stuck around here, were mining gold, okay, developing, having this whole Dallas family affair going down, generations fighting with each other, the younger guys fighting with the old guys, grandsons castrating fathers, and all kinds of nonsense. And then they created the workforce, and the workforce could work on and develop, and the rest of that is the development of the evolution of civilization. Okay. But why, my argument, my feeling is this, is that the time span, as they say, is 450,000 years ago. 300,000 for Homo sapiens. That makes sense. That's great. That fits within the timelines of science. But let's have a look at a couple of other perspectives. We know there was a mass extinction, well, not a full mass extinction, but a serious cataclysmic event 12,000 years ago called the Younger Dryas, where a massive asteroid came and hammered into Canada, Greenland, Canada, and it was a mass extinction event for North America. It was scarified, it was scoured. Okay, South America pretty buggered up. The rest of the world pretty buggered up. It gives us all the stories about Atlantis and all the thing, because the sea level rose and about 100 meters. So all of the coastal things all over the world could have been under the water. So that we've got this thing that we know this event happened. And for 1,000 years, up until meltwater pulse 1b, when temperature started rising again, there was a pretty hard time for life. Okay. At the same time, about 11,000 years ago, there was an apparent switch, a polar switch of the Earth's magnetic poles switched, which would have been cataclysmic. Did this happen? So they say. I'm not a scientist. I just do a lot of research. But these are two things that could have had major impact on the Earth. We look at megalithic structures, okay? And they seem to have been from before the Younger Dryas, some of them. Göbekli Tepe, we're not quite sure, it seems to be on the cusp there, about 11,500, but we don't know, that's when it was used. It could have been there for 1,000 years before. The pyramids, they say, are older than the Sphinx, okay? Structures in South America with all similar artwork. The Sumeria, all over the place. There are so many artifacts that seem to be, they were large and they were from before the Younger Dryas, which means that ancient advanced civilization was pre-12,000 years ago. But now we know after that, at 10,000 years ago, we're back to hunter-gatherers. Humanity has regressed back, that we're now running around with spears and chisels and making fires in the bushes after building temples with 100-ton blocks, okay? Which means something buggered around in society. And then goes a couple of thousand years, boom, and we're up, and these same guys become an advanced civilization. So we can assume that it takes from about 10 to 12,000 years for humanity or society, or human society, to go from hunter-gatherer to putting a man on the moon. So let's say that, let's make it 50,000 years. Let's say in a period of 50,000 from a monkey, well, not a monkey, but you know what I mean, a hunter-gatherer to putting a man on the moon. So we say, right, we've had the first one, 12,000 years, that's where we have. Before the Younger Dryas, we had megalithic structures, which means these guys were lifting up heavy stones, heavier than we can do today, and moving them hundreds of kilometers, which means one would think that their civilization was more advanced than us. They were cutting blocks like we would play with dough. They were doing it with rocks, the size of a house. Okay, and just move, boom, 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 put it up, and now let's make this one fit a bit like this, and making crazy shapes for the fun of it. But it wasn't actually, because those things turned out to be earthquake proof. You cannot break them down, and there's no cement or anything. They just fit. But anyway, so these guys are making these magnificent things from that period. And if they were moving, there was some kind of a solution to do with gravity. Probably, okay. So they're doing this. So how long did it take them to get there? Well, we know that the previous mass extinction event was Mount Toba at 75,000 years ago. So that's exactly the right period of time. At 50,000 and from there to go to making megalithic structures at 12,000 BC. And before that, we know, so humanity, we're told, is 300,000 years on the planet. We are also told that there are artifacts that have been found 1.7 million years ago. Man was making fire. We know that there are artifacts, little blades and chisels and, with these little knives and stuff, flints for arrows and stuff, 3.3 and 6 million years ago. So if we start breaking that period of time from 6 million into 50,000 year chunks, we could have gone from hunter-gatherer to an advanced putting men on planet civilization 20 times, 30 times. I don't know how many times. Could have divided out with my calculator. But anyway, shitload of times we could have gone from nothing. Something could have happened, destroying the earth. We, like little ferrets, we climb underground, we survive, and we go through until the next time and the next time.